I suppose we better get on with it then. I suppose we had. Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. And it's the Sunday after the Molten Music Monthly, and you're very welcome to join me here talking about music technology, talking about synths, talking about modular, generally having a bit of a chin wag, maybe have a beer, talk to each other, and enjoy the company of the movement of electrons around circuitry to produce sound. That's the idea. I'm Robin, and you're very welcome to join me this evening. I'm trying to think if I had some kind of plan. There was one that came up at some point. Not sure how that's going at the moment. But it's good to see you. I hope this is all functioning. It feels like it's been a little while since I've done one. So, everything is still just coming together. Anyway, I can't see my chat with my glasses on. So let's see what's going on. Hello, good evening to Swagger Boa. How you doing? Ken, good to see you as always, sir. I'll pour me beer in a minute. Corey, good to see you. Coroniwanus. Good to see you. Ray, hi. Lob. Out of the binary, Steve G. You just all got such cool names. That's the thing. I mean, it all works really well. I think for me, I just tend to be Robin. But anyway. Gated Caffeine, good to see you. Ratcatcher, John Bon Tempe, good. Sound and Vision, good, says Ken. Good, that's good. I've turned myself up on purpose because we had some problems last time. There was a lot of talk of things not being very loud. So hopefully I'm getting more greens over there. Hopefully that's working. That seems to be working. So I hope that's loud enough. What? From the US, Scott Hines. Is that a boat? Are you calling us from a United States ship somewhere out, bothering some poor people, I imagine, if that's what you mean, Scott? But probably not. Hi, good evening. Well, it's good to have you. Oh, look, we've jumped up a few people. That's good. Good to see there's a bit of a bunch knocking around. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Hi. Yes, we could do this all night. Fantastic. Hey. Hope you're enjoying the Oxy One. I don't have an Oxy One, so no, I'm not enjoying that. And have you tried their sequencer? Do you mean the Oxy One? No. I think you mean the Coral, which is here. We'll have a look at that, perhaps, later on. Although, I'm wondering if I have anything that can send it polyphonicness. Yeah, maybe I might find something. Well, otherwise, funnily enough, it works really well with single notes, which I think is good. Is good. You don't want to be drawn. Yes, I know you meant the Coral. You don't want to be drawn into having to play chords, because I'm finding. I have done it with the polycinematic. We talk about this later, but then hey, we're talking about it now, where I throw in a chord. But throwing pads, it's an odd thing, because whenever I'm writing music on synthesizers, very virtual synthesizer, hardware synthesizers, big pads, big pads. Whenever I'm in Eurorack, I can't seem to find the space for it. Can't find the room for a big pad. It's very odd. Yeah, but hey, we'll look at that. Thanks for that. Alfie, hi, how good to see you. How lovely. Here I am at my best. That's awesome. So, what do you want to talk about? What should we do? What should we do? Should we talk about, is there anything in particular this month that's that you'd like to chew on? Otherwise, I'm quite happy just to spin off in any direction on anything that grabs me. I'm trying to think if I've got any particular news to talk about in a big way. Have I done much with the patching with the Panda module you built? Yes, it's there. I've played with it a lot now. I haven't quite got as far as really getting into the manual, which is what I need to do, because I just like to play with stuff and kind of experiment and see what happens. And it's got certain levels of awesomeness and certain levels of bogglingness where you're going, I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing this right. Oh, heck, there's someone on Twitch, right? Look out. Something about pricing, guaranteed, incredible flexibility and convenient order management. What? Everything in your hands. That sounds amazing. So dodgyhype.com apparently. That's a terrible name. Can you stream Among Us? Yeah, probably. Why? Do you want to play a game? Deckard's dream, that is. Oh, what's up with that dream? Well, it's there. What's up with it is simply that I haven't had time to look at it any further than what I did up to Synth East. So I got that far. It's got 7 voices perfectly working, but there's a voice that's not quite working, and it has a bit of an earthing thing going on. So those are 2 things I want to track down, but I don't have the time at the moment. At the moment, I'm just snowed, completely snowed. One of the reasons why I thought I'd look at a few modules tonight is because I just haven't had time to do my videos on them, and I want to, desperate to write reviews and make videos on these particular modules, and I'm not going to be able to this week. This week I've got deadlines and a lot of writing to do that I must get done, because that's the actual, that's the real work. That's the real thing that pays the bills. So I have to get that done, sadly. I've managed to squeeze out a couple of videos last week, one on the wobbler, because that was just so much fun. And also the build of the particles, because I just thought, heck, let's do it while it's just turned up in my hand. I'm just going to plow on through it, which is great. But it's also a little bit of a shame, because I've got other kits that other people have sent me, which are sitting around very, very patiently, that I just bypassed completely. So that's the thing. Oh, the other thing is I've got the Slappy 3 body over there. I could plug that in and see if we can make head and tail of it. I haven't plugged it in yet. So I do have lots of videos coming soon. I need another week of writing, and then hopefully I would have caught up a bit more. It's the fallout from doing the Synth East. It took up so much of my time that I've just got really behind. I need to be able to afford food next week, things like that. Anyway, so got to get Synth East 24 ideas from the group. Now, I don't know, it was such a success this year that I don't think anyone could possibly have better ideas than me. But yeah, maybe. Hi, Madcap. So yeah, Deckard's dream. Yeah, no, I covered that. Thank you. Centre Village and Japanese Eurorack companies. Yeah, thank you. All right. I was having a look at their Quenser, the Cosmos Quenser, I think, last month. I've seen a few things from Centre Village. I've followed their they've got this Quenser range, these modules which have sort of strange sequencing built in, or pattern generation, phrase generation, which have been quite interesting. They're just so far away. I don't really get much in the way of communication from Japan and Japanese modular. You kind of have to seek it out, and every time that I do, there's interesting things going on, but it really is, it just feels like a whole other world over there, and I'm not quite sure. I don't know anybody there, except for, actually, funnily enough, Bob from Black Corporation. But as far as modular goes, I don't have any contacts over there. I do have an affiliate link to Clockface Modular, so I probably should talk to them a little bit more, thinking about it. Yeah, I need to give them some time. I don't imagine I've generated any sales for them ever, but there is a connection there. So yeah, I don't really have anything to say about Japanese Eurorack companies, because I don't know anything about them. I know that the Tokyo Modular Festival is a bit of a thing, and I saw Cuckoo. He went there a few years ago now, I think, and did some fascinating little videos of what that was about. Yeah. A boggling module made out of bogglings. Well, most modules I find quite boggling to start with, I have to say. I think moggling is more of a state of being. It's a state of a module. A module arrives in a state of boggling and then gradually reveals itself. How is your live rig? Are you going to make any changes? Yeah, it's all in pieces, all over there. It's all over the place. It's already been in pieces. Because the nice thing about it was that I very much enjoyed the live rig and what I did. But then I've got to get on with my life, and I've got to get on with reviews and writing about stuff and learning modules and thinking about modules. And so it has to almost immediately come apart. So it's not going to stay like that. The other thing is it is big. I need to condense it a bit more, I think. The twin rack brute. The twin arterial rack brute is still, it's a good idea, but it is still very heavy. It's a very, very heavy thing to cart around. And I'd much rather take my orange case, or a case like this with a handle and a lid, you know. But you've got to get the right modules. You've got to have enough stuff to play with. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wonder if I was actually doing a proper gig, like an hour's worth of music, whether you could do that on a little case. You could do an EMOM, do 15 minutes, no problem. But could you do an entire hour? That's trickier. That's trickier. So, Neil, would I make any changes? Yes, I'd change everything. It's funny because it's like in here at the moment, I've really rediscovered the grit filter. It's something which I really enjoyed. I did a review of quite a long time ago now, and then whenever I try to use it recently, it just wouldn't seem to work. It wouldn't seem to do what I thought it was supposed to do, and I would just kind of put it to one side and end up using the wasp filter or the Jove, which I can almost guarantee to get something interesting out of every single time. But it's odd how that can happen, or I'm finding that happens with some modules, in that I seem to lose the ability to use them. But I've suddenly found it again. I've found my grit mojo, and it's working much, much better, which is interesting. So what am I saying? What was I saying? Making any changes? Does that have anything to do with that? Oh, I don't know. So yeah, change is happening all the time because I suddenly forget how to use things and find other things which do it better. But the feeling I still have from that live performance is that I wasn't modular enough. I mean, nobody noticed because nobody had heard it before, so it was all fine. It's all fine. I'm not trying to be down on myself about it. It's just I could have used more modular techniques. I think I kind of sequenced it and synthed it a little bit too much. So yeah, I need to think about that. I need to think about how I can do more generative, slightly more change and interest, that sort of thing. It's got me thinking. I mean, every time you perform live, it's an experience and you learn from it. And, you need to move on and move forward and do something different next time. That's the thing. Quantizers, which one do I recommend? That's a good question. I've got a couple. I mean, the one that I use most frequently is the microscale from IntelliGel, which is in my case here. But I use it very, very simply because I was looking at it earlier, actually thinking, I really must open the manual on that and find out whether it can do some extraordinary things, as I'm sure it probably can. But essentially, I turn on like 3 or 4 notes because it's just got a scale on it. In fact, I could show you. It's got a scale here. These notes, it's like a piano keyboard, and I essentially put on a few notes and then run something through it. And it plays those notes, obviously. Now, it has all this writing all over it, which would indicate that it can do other stuff, but I've never used it for anything more than this. Straightforward quantizer, turn on the notes and off it goes. That's it. that's as sophisticated as I get. Now, I have the quad quantizer, which I think is still in my live case, from Tenderfoot, and that gives you the same sort of idea, but you have 4 channels running through it. So you can quantize 4 different streams at once. And it also kind of extracts a trigger for when something comes in. It causes a trigger to happen. So you can use that for triggering envelopes, which is quite clever. But the only thing with it is that you kind of have to dial in a scale or an arrangement of stuff. I'd much rather just be able to turn notes on and off, which you can do, but you have to do it on a dial. You have to dial it down, and the light goes down. Turn that one on, turn that one. What I love about the microscale is I just hit a couple of buttons, and that's just brilliant. So it wins every time. Now, it probably has the ability to transpose, and that's what I want to look into, because that was something that I could really do with doing, and that could make things very interesting. It's got things like shift and target, roots. Scale shifting. So probably I have simple requirements, you see, simple ones. Since you're already so busy, any new toys incoming? Just give that some thought. No, not at the moment. I'm stacked up as it is with things as it is. I don't think there's anything outstanding at the moment. In fact, I think I might have turned a few people down. So, but as I say, currently videos to make on stuff I already have: Wobbler 2, Coral, Zaps, Particles, Mandrake, Pamela's Pro, the Amelia, Nautilus, Aurora, 3 bodies, and that's not counting. I've got 3 or 4 kits. I've got a delay from Axis Modular. I've got the Accisilator from Apollo, I think. I've got the Chord Pilot. Oh my goodness, lots of things to do. So yeah, the Penrose one, that's nice and simple. Yeah, very nice and simple. Oh, Gated Caffeine saying that the 3 body is an absolutely amazing oscillator. I mean, it's 2 oscillators too many for me, really. So it'll be interesting to have a look at that. So yeah, I've got nothing new coming in just now. Just I have new stuff which needs some time. But like I say, I've got to there's a particular article I've got to write this week. 2 articles I've got to write this week. And it's Easter. So gotta get those done. And then, heck, I'm going to have to carve some time in to get some proper reviews and demos and stuff done. Because there's lots of I've got lots of exciting things. I noticed that a video came out on the Coral recently by a guy. He gave that a really good go, which is interesting. So, I'd kind of hoped I was going to be the first, but it's just taken too long. But I've played with it quite a bit. Again, I haven't really delved much into the manual, but it's been on my desk. So as I'm tapper working away, and then I'll spend 5 minutes just fiddling, and that's been quite interesting. That's just how it has to work sometimes. Sometimes it's just too much. The Struo Harmonaig, yeah. It is very clever, I think. So, but you said you were new into modular. So the microscale was the first quantizer I got, and it just is very terribly straightforward. The Penrose one is definitely a possibility. Penrose is much wider and doesn't have much in the way of features, whereas the microscale has quite a lot of features baked in there somewhere, if only you could dig them out. That's the thing. Hi Ape, how you doing? So, cool. How come there are almost no quantizers left on the market? I don't know. Is that the case? Can't find one. That's interesting. Well, I know that Tenderfoot are working on another one, on an update to their Quad 1. Maybe check them out. Maybe there's a problem with quantizer chips at the moment, or the chips that do that particular thing. Maybe that's a thing. Don't know. I have also used, there's a simple dope for one. Looking around, seeing if I can see it. Is it that? It is, it's that. Called the A156, of course. That fella. And it's got 2 quantizers in it, a dual quantizer. You've got CV in, CV out, trigger in and out. I don't really know how it works, but it at least gives you a musical scale. And it's, as far as I can work out, you've got all notes, you've got major or you've got minor, I think. And you've got a 6th and a 7th. And you've got a transpose button, which is cool. I've only really used it, just thrown it in there as a way of keeping something to notes as opposed to freeform. They're quite simple, aren't they? So not very configurable particularly, but it just sits there and does its job. Robin's ready for a complex oscillator. No, I'm not. I mean, I told Schlippy Engineering that it's really not my scene, man. I get confused by by complex oscillators. They said, "Oh no, I'll be fine. Fine, give it a go, mate." They said. So heck, I will. I'll give it a go. Ken, you've got the Disting MIDI expansion module kit to solder. What on earth have you got that for? What could that possibly be doing? The last thing you need into a Disting is MIDI. I mean, that's just going to open up, I don't know, open up new portals to other dimensions. That's not what you need. You know, you have to minimize that Disting use, man. You've got to come off it. Wow, there's stuff going on. That's all I can say. Am I still thinking about the Von Gogh polyphrase? Yes, every day I think about the Von Gogh polyphrase. And every day I hope that the angels at Von Gogh will go, hey, you see that guy? He's a really cool YouTube guy. I think we'd really love him to have one of our pedals so that he could show it to his YouTube peoples. And they'd all go, ooh, and we'd make tons of sales. That's what I hope will happen every day. but it hasn't happened as yet. It is gorgeous though. I don't know what it is about it particularly. How it does that. It's almost like everything that I wanted Magneto to be and wasn't. Nice beard, thank you. It's just, you know, it's all got a bit long. Do you take detailed photos of the live rig and cable positions before you put it apart? No, I don't. With a view to recreating it. No, because there's not that. Well, I mean, there's a couple of things. It's not that difficult, you know. With modular, everything kind of goes where you think it should. So yeah, definitely. And every time you put it together, there's a possibility of creating something really fabulous. And at the very least, you'll create something mediocre, you know, and that ain't bad half the time. But no, I don't tend to record my patches. You know, I did think about it. There's the whole modular grid thing where you can sketch out patches on there. But, you know, the time it takes to do that, I'd much rather be patching something else. So no, I don't really record my patches. I mean, in fact, I did think about writing stuff down for Synth East, because at one stage I was going to have my rig out on a table for people to fiddle with and play with, and so I wanted to write down what everything was so I could put it back to place if people had fiddled with it too much, but that actually never happened, and I never wrote it down anyway. I just can't seem to summon up the enthusiasm for it. So no, I'm very, very cavalier with how the patching goes, and I absolutely assume that I can just patch it together in some way and it'll make a nice sound. That's the idea. I mean, it always looks complicated, but this really isn't complicated. All of these cables are only here because I was just trying to do one particular thing, and so it's what ended up from that, trying to attempt to do that one thing. But then I wanted to do something else, and so some of the cables are left from that one thing, and now I did something else. But it's all relatively simple, I would say. What make is the orange case? It's case from Lake. Scale shift mode is super nice for loading different banks of notes. Oh, really, Matt? Shift mode. Shift. I've got scale shift. Shift target. Shift target. Pre-diatonic post. B mode. I mean, there's a shift input, certainly. I mean, it's got a save button. Look at that. I've never saved anything on it. I just tend to. I mean, it's funny. I've moved to a few different notes recently because I've used the same notes. I essentially use a kind of a blues scale. I tend to put on C, F, G, and B flat. That tends to be what I do, and I've been playing with that for ages. But for some reason, the other day I put on E, F, G, A. And thoroughly enjoyed that, and so that's now my go-to 4 notes that I put on. But yeah, I've always known that there's secrets hidden in there. If only I would spend the time to find out what that is, I'm sure it could do something interesting. So I mean to look at that. That's that funny thing in Eurorack, in that you always get dazzled by the next exciting thing, and you keep forgetting. I mean, I'm not talking about you, because you all know what you're doing, whereas me, I keep forgetting about the utilities, and often I'm looking to do something and I can probably already do it because I don't fully understand all the potential of the utilities that I already have, you know. I mean, that's terrible, but then I'm terrible. I appreciate that. And I was thinking about this actually, because I had this strange comment that unsettled me on the particles video, where the guy just sort of, I got like, it was a shruggy comment saying, well, what was the point of that? I mean, you know, you don't even know what you're doing, kind of thing. You know, why on earth did you get this module? Well, you don't know what it does, and you haven't discovered what it does, and you haven't even looked in the manual, and yet you're building it and telling us how great it is. And that, you know, I've stewed on that. You do, one stews on comments which aren't 100% positive. And I'm thinking about it, and I think there's a reason. I mean, I don't think he's wrong. I think he's absolutely right. I splurged on a kit which I thought looked interesting without really fully understanding what that module was. I don't think I'm the only person in the world who's ever done that, but I don't also think that's a particularly good thing. But I don't think it's a bad thing either. But my explanation for it, trying to examine my own psyche as to why did I do that, is that just is the way that I do Eurorack. Because I'm a reviewer, YouTuber, I get sent a lot of stuff that I don't know anything about. So someone gets in touch and says, can I send you my blah-de-blah module? And I go, oh yeah, sure, whatever. And they do, and it turns out we go, what the heck is this? So a lot of my Eurorack reviewing and playing with is exactly that, is discovering a module in use, as opposed to, you know, if you're someone who's actually using Eurorack properly and isn't in the business, then you would look at modules and you would compare them, and you'd read reviews, and you would understand the nature of it, look in the manual, and try to find something which is actually going to do the thing that you want it to do. You have a purpose and an intention behind it. And that's absolutely how it should be. The way that I do it is completely bizarre. You know, I stumble about from module to module with, oh, look, there's a new shiny thing. Let's try this out and see what that's about. Or I see something which is superficially interesting, but I don't have really the time to sit down and really dwell upon it. I've already sort of written it up and thought about it and kind of moved on to something else. But if it's exciting enough and I just want to jump on it, then that's what I do, because that to me is not unusual. Although in the scheme of things, in building a synthesizer and being a musician and dealing with your gear, that probably is a little bit bizarre. So I hold my hands up to that and say, yeah, I do occasionally buy modules. I don't have any clue what they're going to do. No, not any clue. I have an idea, but I don't always have make a fully formed decision. But I've tended to find that my snap decisions, my impulse buys, have always worked out really well. So, you know, I'm not upset about it. I just thought it was a narky comment that was quite interesting and perhaps quite revealing. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason why I'm completely fine with buying a module that I haven't researched and I'm not desperate for. I just think it might be interesting. You know, because I'm of this crazy notion that if I buy a module and make a video on it, it will pay for itself somehow, which is nonsense. That's not, I'm just pouring a beer, which is nonsense. That's not how these things work. But in my head it does, and that's why I do this job. It's not a job. It's a hobby. So there we go. So more of what's his fame? Beavertown. More Beavertown beer. I'm a very fan of the cans, and also it tastes nice, you know. Okay, sorry, I went off on a one. Yeah, Ken's got the dope for one. Nice. Sine and cosine of phase modulation. Ooh, okay. There's a few quantizers in there. There's one, the red one. Whose is that? It's like ridiculously expensive, but it's got 4 different quantizers in the one module. I always quite fancied that, but I found, it's like I bought the dope for one because it was like 60 quid, I think, as opposed to the red one. Is it an ADAC that's like £400? And I just needed something simple just to keep everything hitting notes. Oh, the EuroPie. PAMs. Oh, heck, now we're talking. So how does PANS do quantizing? Shape, width, level, offset, phase, probability, Euclidean, loop, cross-op, flex-op, invert, quantize. Oh, right, okay. But how do you assign an input to that? Oh, I must use an input at the top. Quantize, major, minor, pentatonic. So it's got a whole bunch of... can you see that? I don't suppose you can. So, quantizing. Oh, that's a bit wobbly. But you're having to pick chords. You can set up some user ones. Okay, fair enough. You know how I am with multifunctional modules. The Vino Echo is the same as the polyphrase. Really? Wow. It doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't have those magic animated mushrooms moving around it though. So I don't know whether I can agree with you. Okay, that's interesting. I'll have a look at that. Three operator FM. Oh yeah, that sounds like right up my street. GX3D, hi, how you doing? I think outside the box. Do I? I don't know where the box is. That's the thing. Hey, good to see you, Tom. It does happen, yeah. You're on the Goblin. Yeah, no, it was good to be on Ranzi's stream. Although I'd like to have a chat with Ranzi sometime. ADAC, thank you. PAMS quantizes its own signal rather than an external one. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Where's the tune coming from? Where's the sequence coming from? If PAM's doing it, quantizing its own what? So is it essentially an arpeggiator? What do you mean? No, crikey, the Sinfonium. That's an extraordinary machine. Doop, 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 doo. Nerdseek, no, I'm sorry. I didn't get along with trackers when I had a computer that ran trackers. I found them a bit boggling. My favourite word of the night. So, no, I can't. There's nothing in a tracker that I find remotely attractive. Nothing. I can't. No. It's like we invented the piano roll, for God's sake, 200 years ago, in order to avoid us having to use that kind of interface. So no, what am I drinking? I'm drinking. Can't remember. Beavertown Haze. This stuff. Let's get it in focus. That one. Lunar Haze. It's really, really drinkable. Very, very nice. I like epoxy silly beers. Silly beers is what I like. What's the module in your case with the Oxy logo? So that's the coral. Oh, look. Are you still in the top? You're still looking at the top. Sorry about that. So you've been looking at my case, have you? Huh? So yeah, that's the Oxy coral. We'll have a look at that in a minute if you like. What time is it? Oh yeah, we're all right. We're all right for time. Yeah, the black sequencer has come back into favour because, I mean, sometimes I get a chance to play with something and then it kind of just gets put to one side for a long time, and I tend to gravitate towards the things that really work intuitively well for me. And the black sequencer was nice for a good long time, but it can also get a bit complicated sometimes, and sometimes you have to work quite hard at it. So I hadn't used it for a while. I'd used simpler things, but then I needed it for a reason. I can't remember why. Oh, I needed 4 channels. That's right. Sequencing through the vector wave, the RYK vector wave. So I brought it back out, dusted it off, and went, oh, this is really nice, because it is really, really nice. But I've kind of forgotten exactly how to use everything, but I can remember enough to make it fun. And I'm using it currently with the wobbler for reasons I will explain. Yeah, no, trackers are definitely for some people. Yeah, my module. Yeah, it's standing really well. You should see my house, mate. It's huge. Shall I? Would you like? Okay, if you're really good, I'll give you a quick glimpse of a module development. Only if you're good though, and you mustn't tell anyone. All right. Oh, I'm right at the bottom. You're laying it on a bit thick about the tracker now. Yeah, I put the update on this evening. I wasn't sure what it did that was new particularly, other than magic per step, but that sounds like a lot of trouble. Because the great thing about magic is I press magic and CV, and it's just written a new thing. You know, that's I really like that function. Whereas having to now decide to do magic per step, what? That seems crazy. Decker Stream's coming along. Somebody asked earlier, actually. I haven't done anything since the last video I did on it, so I hope to get a look at it at some point. So yeah, I think I caught up. That's good. No, I mean the NerdSync has a lot of love. I would say all the cool people are well into NerdSync. It's just not me, I'm afraid. I don't know what the Westlick performer is, but that sounds fun. So should we have a look at how do I like the 2500? Are you talking to me? Downsides. I don't know what you mean. Do you mean the ARP, the Behringer ARP 2500? That is something that I keep looking at over there. I've got to sort out my workbench because I have too much crap on here, which is getting in the way of me moving forward. And I need to spend some time with the 2500 system that I've got. I mean, I'm kind of assuming because Behringer are more or less moving through the thick treacle of no chips, that it hasn't felt important to do it. But so it's been sat there for a year, if not over a year, with me not doing anything with the 2500 modules. I mean, it really does look nice. I love the colouring of it, those knobs and stuff. But I will get into that sometime soon. Again, it's on my list. It's on my list. Have you got a friend called Hugh? Hi, Hugh. Janice, or it might be Janice. And he might have misspelt something else. But hi. Hi, Alfie's friends. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming along. That's always very nice. It's delightful. In fact, it is. Yeah. I mean, I guess Behringer must be filling an entire ship. Maybe that's the idea. They'll just wait until they've filled an entire ship. Then that'll take 3 months to get here. And we'll have 3 months of it's shipping now kind of stuff from Behringer, which will be great. We'll all look forward to that and enjoy that very much. Right, so let's well, I drink a bit more beer. So the choices are this evening, I mean, hopefully we'll get through all of them. Behringer price reductions, yes, some of them, Crackly, thank you. Some of them we're seeing. The biggest reductions were on, you're not going to see that synthy one, Ken, not ever, not for ages. The big price reductions were on all the big modular systems, and Thomann doesn't have any, so it's a completely wasted on Thomann. But a few of the other synths now are coming down. So what was I saying? Yeah, there are some cheap stuff coming through from Behringer now in the UK, but it was definitely all over Sweetwater. That seemed to be the place where it was happening. So good for America, and also because they were always far more expensive than Thomann already. You could buy stuff cheaper from Thomann than from Sweetwater in the US, as far as Behringer was concerned. It was a bit weird. So it was good that those prices were coming down. But now you can buy that System 35 for $1,000, and that's just crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I don't have it plugged in. It's over there. Can you put a random sequence into Pam's quantizer? Just a quick one to see what it does. All right. Okay, just bear with me. Let's see if I can get some sound out of this thing, shall we? There we go. So why is that not doing anything? So I've got a thing going to a thing. Sadly, my zaps, have I turned it off since? Has gone a bit stupid. Noisy. Supposed to help. I don't know if anybody else has seen this. Have we got that up? Yeah, seen this sort of trouble. But I've got this lovely Plankton Zaps, which I thoroughly enjoyed playing with live. It was fantastic. But I've got this business going on. It keeps leaping about as if it's broken. There we go. Ooh, there was something for a moment. So that's Zaps. Hang on. Is that coming through too loud? Who's loud? That's not loud, that's loud. Right. Where's that going? That's going into there. That's going into there. What's that doing? I need an output from the... Here we go. From the filter. So we're trying to get a tune, wasn't I? Oh no, that's that. That's not good. Dear oh Lord. Right, so what am I saying? So okay, so I've got something happening. I've got my particles, as you're noticing, doing some nice bit of probability on my triggers into me things, which I like that very much. So I've also got my Expert Sleepers Amelia running in there, doing a beautiful little bit of enveloping, just perfect, perfect. I'm not having to worry about it. I understand what the knobs do. It's really, really nice. I like that a lot. That's doing a little bit to the filter. Now, somebody asked about quantizing through Pamela's Pro Workout. Yes. So I don't know how you do that, but somebody suggests it had things. It had things. So what? Yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with the beer, man. It's just how I roll. So I've got sequence. So this is my out of my sequence going into the VCR. I'm gonna need a slightly longer cable, I think. Let me sort that out. That's a really long one. Perfect. So rather than using the output of that, are you saying that I should be able to use? I've got right channel 6 here. I assume these are all the same. Channel 6. Let's go to quantizer, and turn that on. Is that what you do? I don't know. Let's turn it up and see what's happening. So you want to enjoy the LEDs? Hang on. There you go, is that better? Attenuate. Oh wait, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So look. just a gate. Well, I know, isn't it? That's what I thought. But it's got a quantizer in it. So how can it be quantizing if it's just a gate? Huh? Huh? What does that mean? I mean, what's the point of it saying, you know, a Lydian scale? Huh? So that's the question. What's that about? Aren't I surely supposed to run something through it? I don't know. If I press it, I've got a scope. Load, invert. What's it supposed to do? Am I supposed to put a... at the moment it's got... There we go. Alright, so I'm into that now, so what I need to do is whack up the speed. Ah, no. There we go. See? I can work these things out. Ugh. Oh, wrong button. Well, hey, I'm enjoying that. So to explain what we just did is we just had a look at the Pamela's Pro Workouts Quantizer, which is over here on channel 6 somewhere, channel 6, which is here. And we thought about, well, how do you get stuff in it and through it? But what you do, so it seems, is you tell Pam to throw out a shape. We initially started off with a square shape, which is going to give you that gate or that pulse, which is what Pam's is kind of famous for, I guess. But when we turned it into a different wave, then it was sending that voltage out of itself through the quantizer. So suddenly you were just taking a sine wave or a triangle wave, and that was being stepped into notes. Interesting, I thought. So there's a randomization option where you can just send out essentially a sample and hold type signal. So we stuck that through the quantizer, and suddenly we got a whole random sequence that was pulled into a particular scale. Nice. So it turns out that the PAMs could potentially produce you 8 random sequences, just like that. You know, I probably should look into the manual of it sometime and actually find out what it does. So interesting. There you go. You don't have to feed it a tune in the first place, but of course then you don't really have any control over what it's going to play. Double the clock for the win. Yeah. And sorry, while I was enjoying myself, did I miss anything important? Am I using anything for compression on that combustion? No. No, I wasn't. So anyway, what was I doing? So so PAMS does have scale selection and all. Wasn't sure about that. Yes, it does. Yes, all sorts. So harmonic minors, for instance, pentatonic minors, Lydian, Phrygian, Japanese, fifth chord, TV chord. Don't know what a TV chord is. Oh, it's not a TV chord. It's a fourth chord. I suppose. Fifth chord, chromatic, and then some user ones. So I guess you can create your own. So yeah, stuff straight in there that you can get it going stuff on, which is nice. That's very cool. So I got that going through. I got a Pony VCO. Are we still on the upright one? Yes, we are. Pony VCO from Bafako there, running through the grit filter being modulated by Amelia down here. Didn't get that going quite as well as I have done in the past, but you know, I was using an unfamiliar sequence. So as that was doing that, the rhythm was coming through particles. So what particles does is it takes essentially a bunch of triggers. So I've got just the, so for one side I had the gates coming out from the sequencer here that I was using initially, and that is running this channel here, which gives me these flashes, and that's running into no, that's the trigger. Yeah, no, that's right. That's running it out. There's the output. The output is running into zaps. So this is giving me from a pattern that's coming out of here. It's giving me a reworked pattern into zaps, and I reworked it through using probability, which I've got here, which I can adjust on that particular channel to it's either always on. I can turn it on so it's flashing constantly, or on a probability thing, and I can adjust the level of probability and then go back, and then that changes something, I think. And I've got 2 channels of that. The other channel is going to the filter envelope thing. Yeah, that's right. So that's what's happening. So I'm getting a bunch of triggers going into zaps. Now zaps is interesting because I've taken that out. Yes, because it's a percussion synthesizer. It's still doing this crazy thing. But did I mention that it does this crazy thing on the screen? Something to do with noisy modules, being alongside noisy modules. I don't really know what that means. I guess there's electrical interference or something getting to it. But I mean, heck, in your rack, you could be in a rack with anything. So it's weird to me that you'd build a module and have it be able to be affected by some kind of noise through the power supply. That just seems bonkers. There's an option which I've turned on, which is the noisy option, which should remove that problem, but it doesn't seem to have done completely. Don't know. Needs further investigation, that, but I'm just quite surprised that something would be tripped up by other modules in a case. But anyway, seems to be better now. So with the zaps, what you've got is 2 VCOs that are designed for percussion, and you've got all these sliders which do cross modulation, level, envelope, whether that's pitch or amplitude, and some randomization. And you've got like 12 kits essentially within here, each of which has got 12 sounds. And you can either like we are at the moment, just play with one kit, and then you can adjust how the sounds work. No, not one kit, one sound. Have it coming in just triggering one sound, and you can adjust that sound and play with it, or introduce some randomization to that so it changes quite a bit and gives you quite a varied line. Or you can stick modulation in order to change the kit. So it's constantly running through different kits, giving you different sounds all the time. Do I mean kits? No, I mean the bits within the kit. The sound was within the kit. And you can have this set up so that if the input is chromatic, which is what I've got here, essentially 12 notes going through, that each one of the 12 notes will select a different sound within the kit. Are you with me? And that enables you to do these constantly changing sounds. Let me get that back up. Which one was it? Here. So without randomization on, it's just playing the one sound. I seem to be on 12. And I can, play with that wherever I like. Put it on 7. So there I'm just playing with one sound, that's all that's coming through. Now if I bring in some modulation from the microscale, stick that in here, I'll then start selecting different sounds within that bank. Now that makes the editing a little bit more difficult because you're only editing one particular sound that's currently selected, as opposed to all of them. Well, they've thought of that. You can edit the group by putting it into group edit mode, and then it's editing all the parameters and all the sounds all at once. But it all depends on what notes are going through. You see, it chooses on different ones. So at the gig, I was running the stochastic inspiration generator through it, using those 12 sliders to choose which notes within the kit, which sounds within the kit that I wanted to play. So I could put C up and have the kick hit often, and then put some others up depending on which sounds I wanted to hit, which is very, very clever. This is just a bit more random at the moment. I haven't really worked out where the sounds are and which ones I want to hit. But it's very, very interesting and a lot of fun to play with. All the sliders, I mean, they make adjustments to things, that much is true. But often you can just set it going and just leave it doing its percussive thing in the background. And it's very much like the drums in the wobbler. So they're two very similar ideas, I think. But then it's not like it's a new idea. I mean, this is what the DFAM does. The DFAM is essentially a single voice percussion module, which you change the sound through modulation. It's only got one sound going on at a time, but you change it, you modulate, and that produces a whole range of percussion sounds. Crosstalk on the sound end, maybe. Maybe. Doopy-doo, doopy-doo, doopy-doopy-doo. We love the DFAM. Okay, cool. So, so let's take this same trigger and throw it into the wobbler then. I used the wobbler as a little bit of LFO there for a minute or two, which is quite exciting. So what's that? Is that the thing? So I need to put it into drum mode. There's my trigger. There we go, doing its thing. And now we get an output. That's an output. Back in the 3-1. No, that's that. Don't want to use that just at the minute. I need a longer cable. That's quite long. So output from there. Let's stick that into number 3. So I've got that same pattern coming through particles. That one, I think. Now going into the drum part of wobbler. Yeah, the Bassimatus Iteratus Ultra, exactly. Never really understood that. Never got on with the BIA. But funnily enough, I understand it now that I've used something else that does something similar. So within this fella, within the wobbler, we've got this screen up, yeah. What you've got, you used to have, these are your LFOs around the corner, around the knob here. And now what you've got in bang on mode, you've got these drum sounds around the outside. So you've got kind of a kicky drum. Is it loud enough? Yeah. And then that moves around to a more of a clonky thing, which then moves around to a spronky thing, to more of a hi-hat and snare type sound. So that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sounds. I thought there were 7. No, 5 sounds. I must have written somewhere there were 7. Anyway, but for each one, you've got some knobs, frequency control, and then 2 knobs which do stuff. X-Absorb is just voltage. It's just a small, very small amount of voltage. You're not going to hurt anything. Plug in audio into a CV input. No, just makes weird stuff. Putting voltage into an audio input just creates a flatness. It doesn't seem to break anything. So you've got these sounds. Now, this is something I'm working with at the moment, is how do you select those sounds? Because you want to select them like I did before. So if I take the output of my microscale, I can plug that into here, and then that should hopefully select different sounds, yeah? That should, with a bit of luck. Let me see what I can get going. There we go. So in a very similar way to the zaps, I've now got a whole bunch of sounds going in a monophonic stream of percussion, but always changing. With a couple of controllable knobs which do interesting things. Maelstrom Mandrake, though, is a flipping awesome kick drum. I'm loving it. So, I mean, it's not as raucous as the zaps by any means, or as controllable, but it's got a great little sound set in there, which is very playable with. One thing I will say, something I'm kind of struggling with a little bit at the moment, is in order to select all of the sounds, you've kind of got to be able to reach from plus and minus 10 volts. Is it? Something like that. And so if you've got like a 5-volt LFO, you can't swing the entire knob round, so you can't reach all the sounds. So I was trying to find different ways to sequence my way into it, but most sequencers I have are only positive voltages. And so I found it very difficult to try to hit on all of those sounds, which was mightily frustrating. But then the black sequencer has this modulation bit here, where you can go plus and minus all over the place. And this, I found, was, can you see that? Yeah, it was the one thing that would work. So I got me black sequencer back into things, and been able to use that allowed me to accurately select each of the sounds within the wobbler. I couldn't seem to find another sequencer that can do it. I've just discovered that this one can, which is rather nice. I don't know if going through the U scale is helpful to it or not at the moment, but it's a really good find to be able to have done that. All right, now we're going. So yeah, the drum mode of the wobbler is excellent. Now it has a sample mode in it as well, which I can't remember how I get into it. Someone remind me, do I hold that for 5 seconds or something? No. Do I hold both of them for 5 seconds? Yeah. Possibly. Or did I just break it? Oh, I might have just broken it. Oh, rats. No, that wasn't what I intended. Oh. Seems to be frozen up. I might have gone into a weird mode somewhere. Am I going to hold them again? And bring it back to life. The answer to that is no, I cannot. Oh, darn it. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, shit. Come on, come back to life. What's the matter with you? Gosh darn it. Excuse me, I'll just turn it off and on again. Alright, that's back. Ow, sorry. Wrong button. Well, I tell you, there's another mode in there, which I can't remember how to get to. Someone can find that out. Then that'd be great. Oh, right, yeah. So, what time are we on? Okay, time's getting on. And they're off. They're off to where? Where are we off? Doop-doo. Okay. So, any questions at this time? Any questions? I guess what we could do is look at the choral. If I just run a bass line through it or something, we can just have a bit of a play, rather than. I mean, I can get a keyboard out in a minute, I suppose, to play it over MIDI. But let's just. Can I do it? Yes, I can do it. I can do that. I can do it with my fella here. So let's take the out of that. I know. Oh, horses galloping. Yeah, it's a weird sound. It's nice though. It's very, very fun. So I'm going to need a trigger. Let me take the trigger out from there. I mean, I guess I can. No, that's the clock. It's that one, which is going into there. Use that into this input. Oh, didn't I screw it in? Oh, what a naughty boy. What a naughty boy. Ah. Thanks, Tom. Yeah. Non-stop entertainment here, you know. Absolutely. Oops, sorry, I'm leaning on the microphone. Yeah, you can plug anything, as many as you like together. Ground problems, probably, but everything's too noisy, we don't really notice. Right. Let's see if I can get some space in this fella. That's being really annoying. Let's turn that around. Come on, stop being really annoying. So that's doing a thing. Looks like it's working. I'm going to need a bit of an output. take that one. See what it sounds like. Sounding good because I put this all over the place. Of course you can mention Heinbach. Are you kidding? So, let's go back to here. So I hope you can hear my voice because I haven't moved my mic. I should probably move my microphone a bit like closer to me and stuff. So, so I've got a step sequence from the 8-step sequencer going through the microscale into the oxy, into the choral. Okay, that's all we got at the minute. Just got trigger and I've got pitch. I don't know which mode it's on. I haven't looked into the manual very deeply. I just know a few things that I can do. Okay, so whatever it's on, you've got octave control, like so. You've got morph, which does something. You've got harmonics or harmony. So there you go, got in some chords, that's rather nice. And you've got timbre. Which may or may not do something. Then down here you've got a filter. Resonance. Envelope amount. And you've got two envelopes here, amplitude, envelope and modulation envelope. We've also got chorus, space, I feel I want to bring the kick drum back in. Well, they're not quite on it, are they? What do I need to adjust? Oh, there it goes. It's in. Somehow it got in. somehow. But anyway, so let's try. Let's bring the space down a little bit. And the chorus. Something's gone odd. Alright, something's gone strange. It's like, it feels like the all the tone has fallen out of the choral. I'm just going to give it a restart. It's odd. Very, very odd. It was like sounding lovely, and then it all just kind of disappeared. Let's try that again. So how does it compare to the kick-ain? Very, very different. The kick-ain is just a 909 kick with a few controls, and it's very, very penetrating, but sounds pretty much the same all the time. Very, very good at what it does. The Mandrake just has loads of stuff and sounds really nice. I mean, I've been comparing it to the Erica Synths kick drum as well, and I liked the Erica Synths one, but this is just seems to be so much more. So much more. Now, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Let's see whether I can get this playing a bit nicer. I feel I've broken something. Alright, it's back. The choral isn't all there yet. It's got a lot better since I first had it, but it's still not all there yet. So that's better. So I think you start off with some kind of virtual analog, right? And then we'll go to something else where it sounds a little bit more, I don't know, FME? So, you know, different things. Maybe it's the envelope that does it. Unsure at the moment. Then you get something like that. So these are all different sound engines. Sounds like a super saw. I've killed it again. Yeah, it is like a Platts, but it's a polyphonic Platts. And then it's got some percussion synths. You know, again, we're getting to Bassimilus areas again. All right, here we go. Okay, thank you. This is not rocket science. That's super. I will get back into that in a minute. But I've now reworked it differently. Right, has it found itself again yet? So I think that's the sample player. it back to the beginning again, which worked really well, I thought. What was it? Hold for how long? Just hold it and tap it once. Okay, got it. So let me put this trigger back in here. What is that? Oh, I remember. this point is where I want to transpose, don't I? How do I do that? Through the shift, I suppose. I don't actually know. That better do, otherwise I'll keep going, keep going all night with but with the same sort of thing over and over and over again, because that's what I enjoy. So sorry, microphone, sorry. So there we go. That was the wobbler. I found the sample mode in there. I hope you noticed. That was a wobbler, a bit of particles, bit of zaps, and the choral, which I think I really liked. I really liked the simplicity of being able to do some harmonic stuff with it. That really worked in a Eurorack context, because what the problem I tend to see with modules which are too big, too expansive within Eurorack is that they just sort of overwhelm. And how do you fit it into that environment? How do you fit an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer into the Eurorack environment? I don't think you can necessarily, or rather with difficulty. But in that instance, I'm just playing a single line through it, using the harmonic. I'm assuming I'm keep calling it the harm and the harmonic thing. It just says harm on there, and that seems to bring in different notes. Using that kind of vibe within it definitely worked. Worked very, very, very nicely, I thought. And that suddenly turns it into something that I could use a lot without having to connect a MIDI keyboard, without having to do something clever in order to produce chords with it. It suddenly becomes a very usable sound source. Interesting. Wasn't too sure about all the rest of it. Wasn't too sure about the sound kind of disappearing as it does weirdly. I don't know whether it's to do with the setting that I'm on. I mean, before I updated to the latest firmware, I had this problem with the filter sort of cutting in by itself, just closing by itself, which was weird. Which is, to start with, I thought it was just no sound, but it's just the filter was self-closing for no reason. So they've improved on that a great deal. But I wonder whether there's still some little bits and pieces in there which are causing it some pain. But otherwise, yeah, really nice. And you've got like 3 or 4 different things you can do with the sound as you're going along in order to change it and to move it, and not just the filter, other things too. So yeah, that's gonna take me a little bit longer to get to the bottom of. The wobbler, I think I've got the hang of that now. One thing I haven't got the hang of is the LFO side very much. I haven't looked into that particularly at all. But the drum side, yeah, I think I've got the measure of that. Plus, messing it with the black sequencer was really good, but I'm very happy that I can also make the 8-step sequencer hit it as well, which is pretty cool. So being able to select those sounds is key, you see, to making it work, I think. But it's a little riot all by itself, and you can keep changing it. Fascinating. The poor old Modbap Trinity, which I also have in for review, seems kind of mild in comparison, because it's just got 3 sounds, which you can change and modulate and all that kind of thing. But essentially, it's a 3 sound drum kit, which is great. But you've got those 3 sounds that do that 3 sound thing, which what I thought I wanted. But however, having played with both the zaps and the wobbler, it's like, no, this is what I want. I want this stream of percussion, rather than having to program a pattern. Do you know what I mean? So Yeah, great. And the particles is just fitting in there, producing interesting patterns. Rather than me having to go into the PAMs and try to dial in some sort of Euclidean something or other, I can just feed it just a straightforward series of stuff, and the particles will start probabilitying it into something more interesting. Excellent. Excellent. It's probably, again, more to it than that, but that seems to be working for me. So I've got to think about I've got to think about. See, I'm going to look into the transposition of the scales, and you'll come back next time, and that's all I'll be doing. I'll be constantly transposing all over the place, and that'll be exciting. Got a little bit of action out of the Nautilus as well. That's another module I'm supposed to be reviewing, and it's more interesting than I thought it was. It takes a little bit of the right thing to run into it, and I'm still not entirely sure what it's doing, but it's definitely revealing itself. I just do not have the time. But it's lovely spending a bit of time here just playing. It's just fantastic. Having such a lovely time enjoying doing that. Thanks ever so much for spending the time with me. I'll try to wind this up. Let's just go through. I've missed a lot of messages, obviously. Hydra, more drums. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I got it to work. I did get it to work. All right, people talking amongst themselves. That's fine. People talking about the Hydra. Yeah, there was a little bit of chiptune in there, Ken. Yeah, well spotted. One long sausage of sound. Yeah. All right, still talking about something else. Oh, interesting. I often like to just cut the tempo like in half. I do that a lot generally. I didn't this time. There we go. Yeah, just to give it a bit more room. Heck, I was in the groove. Turn the strobe on. Ba, ba, ba. Yeah, there was a lot of sound. Yeah. Thank you, Arthur. CV into U scale shift input. Yeah, that's my assumption. After setting it, diatonic transpose in the menu. There's a menu. It's diatonic there, that menu. How do you make the menu work? Do I have to hold something down? I'm not going to try that right now. It's late. We need to get on. Hi, Ian. Sorry you missed it, mate. Have you not put your clock back? Forward, back. One or the other. Right. Hey, Andrew, are you off to bed, mate? Yeah, Pam's can do everything. Yeah, choral versus polysymatic. Yeah, interesting. Definitely two to stick side by side. Uh, yeah, it's different. It's definitely different. Um, yes. Cool, right, got to the bottom. So yeah, I should probably draw to a close because it's late and I've been doing this a long time now. But that was a lot of fun. So thank you for allowing me to do that. So as I mentioned, I've got a lot of videos on their way that I will get through because I'm excited about all these particular modules. I don't tend to do videos on things that I'm not excited by, you know. And believe you me, I've got plenty of modules that people have sent me that I'm not that excited by, that I haven't ended up doing a video on particularly. But I do hope to get to most of them because I am excited by most things. So easily excitable, you could say, is what I am. So anything else coming up? I mean, as I said, I told you about a load of stuff. So that's fine. We'll probably just leave it there. I mean, one question I wanted to ask you lot actually was whether I've been starting doing news on my own site, whether that's a useful thing, something I should continue doing. If you think that's, oh no, yet another news site, whether that's how you feel about it or you can't be bothered or it doesn't really matter. The idea is, I mean, as you know, if any of you have been following me for a long time, you'll know that I'm always trying to find a way to make this Molten business actually work as an occupation, as a job, in order to try to attract a little bit more money. So I'm always looking at ways that I can do that. And one of those ways was to start doing my own news, because I've written news articles for other websites and other people for a very, very long time. And maybe it's time that I need to start doing that for my own site, for my own benefit, so I can reap the benefits of all of it. But that only really works if it can get out to a lot of people and attracts a lot of visitors, and then people click on affiliate links and views go up and I can get advertising, all that sort of thing. So it's something I'm going to try out for a month or two to see whether that really works. Because I mean, my work at Gear News, which used to be the majority of what I did, has really fallen away because they've changed the emphasis of what they're doing, and so I've had to look for other things, other streams, which is why I'm so busy this week writing, because I'm now writing for a lot more other places. So you know, which is good. I mean, that's very good. That's heartening to me that I can write for other places and you know, make a living doing that to some degree. It's just trying to find that balance between the time that I have to spend to make the money, so I can then release myself into the time of making videos on this stuff, which doesn't make any money at all, hardly, a little bit. But you know, there's always plans and possibilities. But if you thought that was a great thing that I was doing, then I would feel mightily encouraged to continue with that and trying to keep that going and interesting in order to attract more visitors and more eyeballs, all that kind of thing. So that's what that is. So if anybody's noticed that and thinks that's good, then do let me know. That's helpful. Ray, yeah, Surface. Yeah, I'm really sorry that the Surface has not been it's been less and less of a feature on my channel. It's not because I love it. I mean, it's sitting here. It's doing its function here. It's still very good, and I fully intend to do a proper workout of the Surface Pro 9. See how long ago that was. Surface Pro 3, Surface Pro 9. I plan to do it. It's just purely time and bandwidth at the moment. I need to get that done. It's quite important because it's starting to get old. Yeah, I am halfway to 100k. You like the reviews? Yeah, cool, thank you. Newsletter form would be cool. There already is one, mate. You can go and sign up on the website right now. So, you know, I've got like 250 subscribers to the newsletter. I send it out every month after I've done a Molten Music Monthly video. I do a little newsletter roundup with that at the top, and then a few other bits and pieces I've done during the month. So that always goes out. News is useful, says Ray. Thanks. Cool. Okay. That'll do. That's enough for me. You're welcome. Oh, nice. Thanks. Lack of surface coverage is not an issue. Cool. But I mean, ironically, if I did more on the surface, I would gather a lot more attention because it's a much more mainstream product. And And I did a big focus on it for a few years, and that was good and interesting, and it enabled me. Microsoft flew me over to New York twice for product releases, and that was really cool. Had some good times doing that. Not so much lately though. Not so much. They kind of then lost interest and went elsewhere. And just honestly, this is just more fun. So why I appreciate the Surface and everything that can offer, I've just, hardware for me has just been a revelation, and that's kind of where I want my focus to be. But I also have an SSL audio interface that I want to test out, and I want to test it with the Surface and put those things together to give me the opportunity to put out some intelligent information on how well the Surface Pro 9 works, how well that SSL 12, I think it is, audio interface works, because I'm actually hoping to use that to replace my audio fuse, funnily enough. So yeah, more work than I could possibly dream of to do. Michael, you missed the Pro coverage. Yeah, I understand. You see, in my head, I've always aimed to do a week on every month. So every month, the big plan for many years in my head is to do a week on modular, a week on modular DIY, a week on Surface and software, that kind of thing, and then Molten Music Monthly and whatever it is that comes in like that. It's just impossible to schedule things like that. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I get overwhelmed by various things, or something takes 2 weeks to work out. A video takes a fortnight to make for some reason. It's impossible. And it also ends up being too much to learn. You can't, learn a piece of software in a day necessarily in order to then do a video on it, to then edit that video and get that out. I mean, possibly, but there's too many other things involved which keep tripping up that idea, and so things fall away, and it tends to be the Surface which falls away because it's a thing that interests me the least at the minute. It's a shame. I wish I could do more. I wish I could do the video making thing and the music production side of things full time. Sadly, I can't. I have to spend most of my time writing, which is something that I really enjoy doing and I'm very grateful for, but it's not, it hasn't enabled me to put in the sort of level of content output that I would like to do. But hey, I do my best. I get out there what I can, and I will definitely get to the Surface. I mean to. Yeah, SSL 12 does have a couple of DC coupled in outs, I think. One or two, not all of them. Hi, Marco. Hopefully this month I've got a big project for my patrons over on Patreon. If you're not a patron, then what are you doing? Then you should get over there. I'm working on a little thing, quite a big little thing, which I think could be awesome, that I'm going to run through my patrons before anybody else, or probably only ever through them. So that's something I've got stewing away at the moment. Got Super Booth coming up, of course, soon. NAMM, if anybody's interested in that, coming along. Already talking about Synths 2024, which is cool. And other little things. Hi, Robert. Good to see you. I'm just signing off, really, sadly. Yeah, don't spread yourself too thin. It is true. I just want to do everything. No, nobody else covers it, Michael. No one else covers it. The whole touch pen thing. No, not to my knowledge. Anyway, no one else. I was very much on my own doing that, which, as I say, which is why it was a useful thing to do and a good thing for views. I mean, a lot of my older Surface stuff still gets a lot of attention. So yeah, I mean, I'm shooting myself in the foot not doing more on it. I really, really should. I just don't know. Something's got to give, man. Something's got to give. I don't know what it is. I need Yeah, I need a Mrs. Havisham or someone, a benefactor, just to pay me to do the stuff. Anyway, I'm running on now. I should be getting to bed. So thanks ever so much for sticking around and hearing me play some modules. Reviews coming soon, as I say, as soon as I can get together and sort them out. But probably nothing this week. This week I've just got to get my head down, do some writing, and then I'll re-emerge after Easter. See if I can come up with a couple of videos on things. Wobbler, I think, will probably be next because I think I've got the measure of it, and I don't think that's going to be too difficult to do. Ooh, nice. So yeah, I think I'm all over that. What else am I all over? Oh, stuff and things. So cool, yeah. So thanks again. Take care out there, and I will see you soon. Go make some tunes and that. Shall I turn it back on and try and get the transpose to work? Just as a play out. All right, just as a just as a play out. What am I going to take it from? Oh my goodness!